Yesterday we talked about kind of the anxiety from coast to coast, and I can't imagine it's lowered at all in Vancouver, and certainly not in Edmonton. I mean, I watched a good portion of both those games, and they just don't look, I mean, to put it bluntly, they don't look like complete teams. They look like they're lacking in all areas of the game. I don't know where I'd be panicking more if I was in Edmonton or in Vancouver right now.
Well, I mean, because of you got McDavid and Draisaitl, it's always Edmonton, right? Like we expect so much from them, and they've got an average defense, average, like no better. In particular, without Clefbaum, who they miss that size in his 25 minutes a night that he plays, and their goalie is average, like he's an average NHL goalie, and they don't have any other options, right? Like that's it. So I'd be worried in Edmonton. I thought Vancouver took a step back over the offseason in that their top six is pretty thin, and certainly without Miller, they were really thin. Now, Miller played last night, but, man, he's been in quarantine for 10 days. So it wasn't his best performance, nor will the next one be his best performance.
Ray, let's not stir it up here, but how much more does McDavid look at this and go, this is what is this, Hayes, for him, year 5 or 6?
I think it's 6.
Yeah. I mean, he's got to be better, too, though. Like, they
I know
get
that.
Their cookies on the
but
power play, I didn't notice
Pierre-Luc Dubois
5-on-5.
just said no thanks in Columbus. So I think Connor McDavid has aspirations on being those guys. It's about championships. This is year 6. Does he not have a timeline where he's like I can't see them being cup contenders this year or next. So when does it happen?
Well, I would say it's almost certain that he and Ken Holland have had this discussion. And part of the discussion is, okay, the roster is what we are, or we are what the roster tells us. But after this year, there's $22 million, I think, to come off the cap.
Oh, okay.
Like you can only make the changes as we know that you can make, right? I love getting, tweets and saying, oh, the Oilers got to get a new goalie. Okay, great. You got to get a new goalie. A, where are you getting them? And B, how are you fitting them in? Like you don't have any cap room. So I do feel for McDavid because he is the best player in the game, and they're no closer to winning today than they were when he started. Mm-hmm. The problem is you're in the midst of that churn cycle again, right? Like now a new GM's in there, and the new GM's got to get his people in there, and that's going to take some time. And he does have to be better. Like the one game they won this year, he was by a mile the best player on the ice, and the second best player was Leon Draisaitl. So if I'm Dave Tippett, I'm really looking at, man, this is great to have balance, but right now I need to put Draisaitl and McDavid back together.
Oof.
I think that's where it's going. I don't think you're wrong.
But then what's the rest of your lineup? Lines
how can it get worse, Jonas?
Your life.
Yeah. You got Nugent Hopkins as your second line center, who's a good player, but he's not Leon Draisaitl. My point is, instead, if the balance thing isn't working right now, even if it's for a short period of time, a couple of periods, a game and a half, get them together. Those guys get sparked when they play together. Maybe they can help you turn around a little bit because, look, it's 4 games. It's not 14, but you don't want it to turn into 14.
Well, they're in Toronto tomorrow and Toronto on Friday night. And if the Leafs play the way they did last night or on Saturday night, it's going to be a battle, for Edmonton for sure.